Well, that's when we were eating rice down there, see, and we were cut off to the sea, and they had us surrounded on all three sides, and they said, "You guys do what you please. As far as we know right now, we're going to have to stand and fight. There ain't no boats out there, and the Koreans don't treat their prisoners well, and." For instance, they had captured some and tied them up and shot them, And some of them, they really were bad. They captured them and castrated them and sent them home, see. And so they said, now it's up to you, You want to stand and fight or you want to go and be a prisoner, So, but... it would give you a kind of an incentive to make sure you got plenty of ammo, And sometimes when things got tough, see, you're always basically an infantryman anyway. So when the times got tough, why, they just pulled a truck up there and they loaded everybody up with a rifle and some ammunition and headed up the road to wherever the trouble spot was, see. And so you just kind of do what you're told there, That other stuff can just set, So, but I did often wonder about these Koreans, North Koreans. When we were first there, they kind of had the upper hand, see. Mm-hmm. Well, then we got some airplanes in there, and they were dug in on these hillsides, see. So they'd come over with these airplanes, and they'd drop this jellied gasoline on them, And how come they never all got up and run? I don't know, but they didn't do it, I mean, a lot of them got killed, but they stood the ground, Yeah. Oh.
What did the South Korean people, how did they embrace or not embrace, the American soldiers or UN that was there?
Oh, well, they were happy to see us. We were fighting for their country, not ours, And so my big beef with them was the fact that they didn't have no guts, I didn't think, you know what I mean? When they come up to the fighting, see, they'd back off, you know what I mean? Or we're going down the road, and here's a guy that's about 20 years old, said, what are you doing out here, Me, student. I'm a student, Really? This is your country. What the hell am I doing here when you're a student? You know what I mean, see? And that kind of gets your cork a little bit, And I don't know how many of them there were, but anyway, when they got into a real firefight, why, you better have somebody back them up, or And that's why the Chinese, they knew just exactly what to do, They didn't pick on the Americans. The South Koreans were in the middle, see, and they run right through them, So, and but again, we're all scattered out, see, and so we left them in the middle, and they knew where to go,
So. Was there ever an instant, did you get leave at all? Did you get time off from your normal duty?
I got 7 days off in a year and a half.
So, what did you do with all that time, I guess?
Well, I went to Japan and tried some of their sake and ate a lot of frog legs and so I did go in PX over there, and I wanted to send my girlfriend a gift home, see. So I did get to call her on the phone, and I think it cost $12, which of course was a lot of money then, I only made $75 a month, But then I said, I want to buy her a gift here. And so there was this little Japanese girl there, and I was trying to explain to her that I wanted to buy this kimono for my girlfriend, see? And I said, lady, and I was showing her the kimono, see? She said, you suppose she's bigger than me or smaller? She could talk better English than I could, see? So it made you feel a little silly, But we did get it sent home anyway. But we did have a little thing with the airplane going. We got this 7-day leave, so we're heading for Japan. And I look out the window, and one propeller is going like this. We didn't have no jets, we had propellers, and it's going like this. So the pilot looked down there, and he said, well, here's a little dot down here, see, in the China Sea. And he put her down there and landed, changed spark plugs, and back up we go, see. So we get to Japan, and we're on the way back now, see. So what they do with them, these are all 4-motor jobs, so they lock up the wheels, and they wind her up, see. And then they cut her loose, and you can take off. And you also need a shorter runway. So anyway, we're all sitting there, and we're just got ours idling. And the guy in front, he's got her wound up, and they just cut the blocks loose, and all 4 motors died. And I said, oh God, what kind of mechanic they got on this field, So they drug him off to the side, and we got going, But you kind of think twice about this, man. What's going on here, Yeah. We were happy to get some warm clothes come spring, anyway. So, so then I got to come home that fall, see. So I didn't have to spend another winter there.
So what was your duration of service? Do you remember from when you landed to when you got off, what date or years that was?
Well, I was there, the war started in July 30th, I believe it was. And 6 weeks later, I was there, see. And so the time went on, of course, and I said, well, hey, next month I'm getting discharged because my time is up. I only signed up for 3 years. They said, we got a new directive on that all you people get an extra year. And I said, they can't do that to me, because I'm ready to go home, see. And they said, no, not yet. Okay, well, I got back home, and I was supposed to get discharged, so we were sitting over here in this place, and we're sitting around there, and I said, well, I got leave time coming. If you're going to drag this thing out, why, I might as well take some time off instead of sitting around the barracks here, So I called my girlfriend up, and I said, hey, next week is hunting season, and I said, how about I come home and we'll go hunting, and then we'll get married too, see? Well, needless to say, I heard about that for 50 years, Yeah, so we was trying to do two things at once, but it wasn't very tactful, Could have done a lot better job on that.
Was there anything else, from when you landed on Korea till when you on the trip home?
Well, we didn't get in any storm on the way home, and I guess I should have said that was a typhoon instead of a hurricane, which they're the same thing, But smooth sailing coming home, And they wanted me to go down and do KP duty, and I said, nothing doing, you know. When I was a private, I'd done KP duty. I ain't doing it now, see. So, and they threatened me, and I said, well, we'll worry about it when we get to the States, you know what I mean, see. So, but
when you get off the ship and you're on American soil, and
yeah,
you're pretty sure you're going to be there for a while, what emotions went through you? How did it feel to be back on American soil again?
well, I guess you've been hoping all the time that you're going to make the trip, you know. We got there, and now I'm not trying to take nothing away from the Red Cross, you know what I mean. But they did give us a cup of coffee when we got off, and they said, see ya, you know. But I suppose kind of mixed emotions, you know. You're glad that it's over, and at least you certainly hope it is, you know. So, and look forward to getting home, you know. And
well, you get back home, and then you're still in the service for another year. How did that end
well,
up
not quite a year. Wasn't quite, yeah. But, the biggest part of the year, anyway.
So, like, you just stayed on base in Colorado for a year? Is that?
Well, not really. Now, see, this is how the Army works, see. So they sent us back to Colorado, and I got some time to do yet with this added year. So they sent me to Texas to learn how to camouflage, you know, and yeah, dig foxholes, you know. Like I said, I can tell you all about foxholes. You don't have to have me go down there and dig a hole, you know. Well, we're going down there on maneuvers, see. So I drive a gas truck from Colorado to Texas to go on maneuvers, see. And so we get back from there, and we no more than get settled down, and he said, we're going to send you to Wisconsin, to Camp McCoy. Sent us up there to train troops. Well, we were there about 2 months, and back to Colorado again, see, because I'm going to get discharged now, see, you know. So, but they do some hell of a things, you know what I mean. Just yeah, and so the only problem then, see, now they paid for my quarters, you know. If you were the first three grader, they paid for your housing and all that, see. But the only thing, they didn't pay for your transportation unless you were transferred. So what they do, they put you on temporary duty, see. So you have to, so I had to pay my wife's transportation, see. So, you know, another one of their clever things, you know. We just got settled down, see. She went home, and when we went to Texas, why, she went home. So we just got settled down. She came back out. They send me to Wisconsin, see. So we get to Wisconsin. They send me back to Colorado, see. So then she went back home until I got out, see. But crazy, I realize they got a lot of people to deal with or whatever, but boy, they sure need some overhauling, you know. Some of their practices, you know. And as far as I know, it's never changed, you know. It's the same deal.
So, take us to when you finally got discharged.
Well, the big problem was sitting there waiting, you know. We waited for a month, I think it was, waiting to get discharged, you know. And so, you know, they got what they call an inspector general, and he's supposed to look over mistreatments or whatever, you know. So we go up and see him, and we said, hey, how come that I'm way past my time anyhow for getting discharged, and I'm sitting over here on a bunk every day, you know, so what's going on? And he said, well, it's simple, they lost your records. Well, I said, that's nice. That is really nice. And he got a little huffy about that, you know, see. And so I really didn't care at that point, you know. But he said, being you're a non-commissioned officer, you ought to understand this. And I said, I don't understand it, you know, see. So, just some of the Army stuff, you know, they got a habit of goofing things up, you know. But that was about it.
So when you leave to go back home, you left Colorado.
Yeah.
And then what mode of transportation took you back home?
Well, I think I had to go on my own, so I always traveled on the bus. I run every bus in the country, I think. And they didn't have any bathrooms, they didn't have any heaters, they didn't have no air condition, but they were cheap, you know. That's all you could afford. And we got on the train going home. For some reason or other, we couldn't get on a bus.
So when you get back home, do you remember getting off the vehicle or whatever and approaching your house for the first time in a couple of years?
Well, actually, I didn't go right straight to the house. I went over to my girlfriend's first, and we had a little talk there, and then we went out to the house to see the parents. Well, they were there when we got off the train, you know, and they were all there. And so I said, we'll be out in a little while, you know.
One thing here I see, there's you have parade guard for president.
Oh, yeah, well, you know, you have a parade every week, see. Well, at this time, Harry Truman come down to review the troops. And so they picked out so many guys for, they called them honor guard, you know. And at all these crossings, street crossings or whatever, they'd have one of these guys, you know. And I was selected for one of them. And so I did get to see Harry because he was about from here to the door from me, you know. So he never stopped and said hello or anything like that. But yeah.
He missed out.
Yeah.
He missed out on his chance.
Yeah. Yeah.